Another question from Anne. Muslims often insist that the fork, algebra, etc. are quote-unquote Muslim inventions. Yet what were the actual fates of the individuals who came up with them? Well, the way I'm interpreting your question is if there's an implication as if people met a bad or untimely fate because they invented these things while being Muslim. Like, is that how you interpreted this as well?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
actually, let me
see
ask.
why those are why there's this like presumption that there would be a bad fate for people who came up with these inventions. I think the better
Actually,
question is
they were all stoned to death, Asus. Every single one of them.
you came up with the fork? Nah.
That's heresy. Shirk, I'll tell you. We're gonna
I think
like the Caliph is
the
like,
more
we're gonna worship.
interesting
What is this? We're gonna
question is
worship
like,
the fork next. Off with your head.
like
Algebra, shirk.
the more interesting or kind of more correct answer or question is like, why do we attribute these to being Muslim, so to speak? Which is a gripe that Armin has with the, well, what he calls the golden age of Arabs and Persians instead of the Islamic golden age. So it's kind of, do you want to expand on that?
No, yeah. So what Susanna is referring to is like I try to attribute these inventions with with the people rather than the religion, because the religion hadn't, doesn't deserve any credit for these invention, right? However, I think I mean, what if I want to go back to the questions, like, what are the actual fates of the individuals who came up with them? They were celebrated. I mean, I don't know, what did you expect? Like the people, the people that came up with algebra or like new ways of looking at history, like Ibn Khaldun or like Ibn Sina, or like Razi, every single one of them were like, not only they were celebrated, they had like the highest positions. Like most of them had access to the caliph's court. Like they were celebrated as people of extreme value, like they lived very comfortable lives. Most of them had access to the most powerful people in the region, just like anybody that showed any potential of being contributing anything to philosophy or science or art was discovered. As soon as they were discovered, they were brought to the court of the caliphs, as because because the caliphs wanted to be around smart people. Like they got a lot of patronage for them. It was made like especially during the Abbasid time. Like we're right now, the examples that you're mentioning is during the Abbasid time. There was a lot of money spent to make sure that not only that the greatest thinker from around the region are coming to Baghdad. Like this was a major, like they wanted to make Baghdad, which was the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate, to become a center of learning and thinking, and to try to attract, to basically steal all the smartest people from all around the region. Like if you were like a serious philosopher or a scientist or whatever, I mean, at that time, those were the same thing. You were like, be very motivated to just move out of whatever village you were born into to go to Baghdad, because that's where all the thinkers were. And that was by design. They were trying to make it very attractive for the greatest thinkers of everywhere to find Baghdad to be their home, rather than they're competing, like, I don't know, like if we were competing with the remaining of the Umayyads, like in around today Spain, you wanted to steal their thinkers, or with the Fatimiyun, you wanted to make like, hey, don't stay there, come here. We have, if you're a thinker, this is where you need to be. I mean, they built the House of Wisdom, for crying out loud. Like, do you guys think like this is all just like a Muslim conspiracy, that they had like great inventors and great thinkers? No, this was true. Like the Baghdad was like the center of thinking. Like before the Renaissance, before Europe became like a center of thinking and science, like what modern day, what is Iraq today, was like the center of all science and thinking. I mean, if you ignore China, actually, But like for in all of Eurasia, Baghdad was the center of learning, thinking, doing scientific experiments, inventions, rediscovering knowledge from the past, documenting all the knowledge from the past, organizing it, making sure it's preserved. And it was the Mongols that actually ruined all of that, by the way. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand, like, a lot of knowledge that Europe has was because of the Arabs and Persians preserving it in Baghdad and translating everything. And that eventually, through the Renaissance, Europe rediscovered its like ancient knowledge. But I think if people don't understand that how much of that was lost through the Mongol invasion. Like this, the ink from all the, like, anyways, all the knowledge was burned by the Mongols. Like, if all of that was like preserved, it's unimaginable how much information would have been left for Europe to work with if like the Mongols didn't destroy all the books in Baghdad. Like, a lot of people, when they think of like a library being burned, they mostly think about the Library of Alexander, like being destroyed by the Christians in Egypt. But like, another great tragedy of history was what happened to the House of Wisdom when the Mongols took over Baghdad. Like, that was like a major source of information that was all lost. But yeah, I mean, guys, you're not in, like, I don't know why you think this is a loss if you're like against Islam. This is not you're not endorsing Islam if you accept the historical fact that it was many Muslims who, at that time, during the Abbasid era, during the Abbasid dynasty, it was the Muslims who were the center of knowledge and philosophy. That's historical fact. You can't deny that. You're not endorsing Islam. Like, in the same way that you're like, when the Age of Enlightenment happened and Renaissance and in Age of Enlightenment, it happened in Europe. Europe was Christian when that happened. You're not endorsing Christianity if you accept that fact. So you're not endorsing Islam if you accept that this science and philosophy was being done under the Abbasid dynasty. You're not endorsing Islam when you admit that.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.